Hi guys, today's video is going to be taking a look at A-level sociology, revision guides and textbooks, and doing a little bit of a review about which books are the best, or in my opinion, what books are the best. So it's now summertime, we've hit the summer holidays, and you might be doing a range of things. So some of you may be going away on holiday and taking a break. Some of you may just want to have a little bit of a rest and a bit of relaxation time. Some of you are going off on big, grand adventures. And some of you may want to do a little bit of studying, a little bit of revision, getting ready for next year. So what I want to do is rank some of the best revision guides to help you make some informed decisions on which books you may want to buy. So I'll be ranking the books in 3 different areas. The lower the scores means that the books have tried, maybe not quite hit the mark, going up to a 5-star score where the book's pretty good in these areas. The areas that I want to focus on, because I think these are quite useful to be aware of, would be something like costs, so how expensive the books are. I'm going to think about how much depth and detail the content holds, so how much detail is included, how in depth the discussions go. And then I'm also going to think about how user-friendly they are, how accessible are these books for students to pick up and use. So the first book I've got here is the Pearson's Revised AQA A-level Sociology Revision Guide and Workbook. It's a nice book, it's A4 size, it's quite a chunky book. It's got 230 pages, and I quite like this because it has these single page topic summaries. So just put this image in, you can see a whole topic or is summarized on a single page. Now it covers the whole 2-year sociology A-level, so it will cover all the units you cover. It has exam skills at the end of each section. It's got a free online access to the workbook, so you can buy the physical book, but then you can also get a free online access to a digital copy of that book. And again, cost-wise, it is around £10, so I think it's quite good in cost. The depth of content is pretty good, so a single-page summary, so I'll give it a 3-star for depth of content. And I think it's quite student-friendly, so I'd give that a 4-star score. The next book I've got is my revision notes for AQA A-level Sociology, written by Laura Pountney, who is someone I work with, so I think this is quite a good book. It covers, again, the whole 2-year A-level. It has short content summaries, so if I put this image in, you can see it's a short summary of content, but what's quite different from the previous book with this one, it has activities. You can see just in that top left of the image as an activity, helping to consolidate your knowledge. It's got exam skills in it, just like the revised sociology book, but it's got lots of test yourself skills. It covers exam information. Again, it's about 240 pages. It's A4 size, similar to the previous book. Again, cost is about £15. So I've given it a 3.5 star, just because it's slightly more expensive than the previous book. Depth of content is around the same, so 3 stars. And again, I think it's student friendly, and I've given that a 4.5 star score. The next series of books I've got here are the AQA A-level Sociology Student Guide series. Now these are nice little books. They're smaller A5-ish size books. They're quite short summaries of content, but they do include a lot of exam skills, examiner feedback, as well as exemplar student answers covering A grades and C grade responses. They're easy to carry around. There's 3 books in this series, and they're about 100 page each, and they cost about £10 per book. Just to show you a little summary of kind of the content, what I mean in terms of that short summaries, you know, bits of information, quite small and concise, really good as consolidation and recapping with examiner tips throughout. Now these books, the AQA A-level Sociology Support series that come from Collins, are very similar to the Hodder books that I previously discussed. So very short summaries, A5 in size, with exemplar answers, examiner feedback, and again, about 100 pages each. If I compare the 2 pages of the books, you can see here, these are the Collins series compared to the Hodder series we've previously looked at. They're very, very similar in their layout, format, and their structure. Key differences here is the Collins series is made up of 4 books, which range from about £6 to £9 each. So cost-wise, I've given them a 3-star, whereas the Hodder series is 3 books, but they're about £10 each. So cost-wise, they're sort of very similar, whether you want to have 3 books or 4 books to carry around. Content in the same is about free in both of these series. I also think they're very, very student friendly, so I would give them a sort of a 5-star approach to student friendliness. The next book I've got here is the AQA A-level Sociology Year 1 and Year 2 in a Week Guide by Letts. This is an interesting book in the sense it produces quite short summaries of core material. It's got some exam questions in the end. It covers all the topics from the sociology course, and it claims that it will allow you to learn the whole course or revise the whole course within 7 days. The way it's laid out, as I've got here on screen, is that you'll have a double page with key sociological perspectives, arguments, theories, and then a mini evaluation. Following those pages, there's a summary of the topic, some quick test questions, and then some exam practice questions. And it suggests, as I say, per day you would spend 45 minutes learning materials, questions, and practicing the exam questions. As I say, I've don't know of any students who have used this and learned the whole course in 7 days, but I think it's quite an interesting suggested idea. Books are about 130 pages each, and there are 2 books which cost about £8 each. So cost-wise, I've put them quite high up. So 4.5 stars for cost, because they are relatively cheap. Depth of content is a free because it's quite concise summaries of the content, and it is quite student friendly in the way it's laid out, with a short bit of information and then some practice questions. The final revision guide I've got here is these CGP books. So this is the new AS and A-level CPG sociology book for 2022-23. These are really basic, brief summaries of the content. There are some exam questions, some exam skills. I'm not a big fan of these books personally. I sort of remember having them at school and never really liking them there. So there is a lot of content. These books cover the entire sociology spec. So what is likely to happen if you were to buy this book, you're only going to use a number of sections, and lots of the, almost half, 2/3 of the book is going to go unused. But as I say, short summaries of the content, some exam practice questions, and you may be a fan of these if you use them at school. Cost-wise, I've put them at 3.5 stars because they're about £15. You just need the one book. Depth of content is quite brief, so it's about 2. But they are generally quite student-friendly books, and students do tend to like them. Moving on to textbooks. So this first textbook here, the AQA A-level Sociology, Book 1 and 2. These are the sort of the standard textbooks. Most teachers, most classes will use these as the base book, mostly because they're written by the lead examiner. So these are written by Rob Webb, who is the lead examiner for sociology. I think these books have a good level of detail and depth. They have exam questions, they have some exemplar student responses, various points. They do a lot about exam skills, and it covers the entire course. There are 2 books available, Book 1 and Book 2. They do cover the entire spec. They're about 300 pages each, and they cost between £20 and £25. So cost-wise, I've put them 1.5 star because they are a little bit pricey if you want to buy both. Depth of content is a 4, so they are quite detailed. And student-friendly wise, I've put them at a 3 because they're accessible books. They have the content, they're easy to work your way through, but there are some sort of slightly longer texts, and so it may not be the most student-friendly book, but it's a good book all round. Another pair of textbooks that you may use in lessons, these are the AQA A-level Sociology Book 1 and Book 2. These are produced by Hodder. And a bit like the web books, they've got good level of depth and detail. I like these books slightly differently because they have lots of contemporary studies, newer pieces of research dropped into them. So there's slightly more updated studies or newer pieces of research away from the main sort of set texts. They include exam questions, some brief exemplars, examiner feedback, covers the entire course. Slightly longer than the web book, so pushing 400 to 480 pages. But they're also a little bit more expensive, so £25 to £30 range. So cost, I put about a 1 star because I think these are one of the more expensive books. Depth of content is about 4, and student friendliness, I've put them up an extra ½ star on that one because I think those extra studies, those newer pieces of research, and the structure, the way they're laid out, is quite visually pleasant. And then lastly, textbook-wise, we have Ken Brown. So this is the Sociology for AQA Volume 1 and 2, written by Ken Brown. These books are quite good. Ken Brown is quite a popular and quite famous sociologist, a leading sociologist. He's got a long history of writing books. You can see these are the sort of 5th and 3rd editions of the books. Again, as with other textbooks, lots of detail, lots of depth, probably slightly more depth and detail than the previous 2 textbooks, which Also, it's why I've slightly knocked off half a star in terms of student friendliness, because these are quite in-depth, these are quite intense books, so probably a little bit more detail, quite big books as well, ranging from about 600 to 650 pages each. But it does cover all content, all topics from the course. The books are about £20, so they are slightly on the cheaper side, so I've given them 2 stars in terms of cost. But again, taking that in mind, you'd have to buy 2 books, which would put it up to £40. And last but not least, the last book I was going to review is this one here. So this is the Complete Revision Guide, Book 1, Book 2. It's also called Succeed at A-level Sociology. Now, these books are written by the lead examiner, Rob Webb, and Keith Trobe, who write the Webb textbooks. Now, these books are quite nice in the sense that they focus more on the exam skills, how to answer questions. There are little bits of content revision, but the main focus here is exam questions. So they're written by the lead examiner. It's more if you've learnt the materials and want to revise it, this is going to be good, particularly in terms of helping to practice questions. Cost I've put at 3 stars, 2.5 stars, because again they're £12 each, so they're quite slightly cheaper books. Depth of content is only 2 stars. There isn't much content, it's more for emphasis on the exam skills. And the student friendliness I put at 3 because it is about helping you to develop your skills in exams. Okay, so here are my final thoughts based on these reviews. So the main thing I want to take away from this is these suggestions are my opinions of books and how I feel about the books. You may have different views, teachers have different views. What I also want to make it clear is that you do not need to buy these books. So depending on how your teachers deliver the course, hopefully the resources and information your teachers are giving you would be enough. These books, you may want to buy 1 or 2 of them to supplement your learning, but don't feel you need to buy them, or I'm saying you have to buy them to do well. If you can, what's even better is maybe go and check out your college library and see if you can borrow them or use them for a short period of time and see if you're actually going to benefit from them. There's no point buying a sort of £40 textbook and then never actually using it. So borrow them and see if you're going to make use of them. That would be great. In terms of these books, again, I've only reviewed a limited number of ones I am familiar with, that I've used or I've looked at. There are other books out there, and by all means feel free to drop them into comments if you have a book that you think is good, better, or you feel is useful. And as always with these videos, just can you like and subscribe? Feel free to comment below, and hopefully this has been of some use, and thanks for watching.